said, I want money, and we're going to see what happens when we're done. Guys, he said, get money, guys. It's going to be a 2011 Cherlyn. Right over there, it's a Mazda 3 Sport sedan. Listen up, we got a small announcement. Does have some structure damage on it, guys. We're going to do structure, but you're going to green light it all the way, guys. Green light, yellow.
I knew as a woman in this business, I needed to get people to recognize me, to see me, to see that there's a woman that could get in this business and handle it against men.
Listen up, right here on this card, number 348. It's going to be a 2011. Looks pretty good, doesn't it, guys? We just got one small announcement, Cherlyn. Cherlyn, it's a small announcement. I think it is TMU, which is what? Unique. Unique.
It's been all about me the last 11 years, 12 years that I competed. It actually took me 11 years to win the World Championship and against all men. The first woman to enter and then finally to win it in 2012. We came to the competition here in Boston so that we could actually show people that we're a team. This is the first year I actually competed with my daughter.
1 1/2, 2 1/2. 32 1/2. I'm going to make a 1 1/2, 2 1/2. I'm going to make a 32 1/2. 1 1/2, I need 32.50, sir. I'm going to, you know what to make your money. I'm going to make a 32.50. I'm going to make a 31.50. Now, how about 32? I'm going to make a 1.52. Now, half. 33. I'm going to make a 33. I'm going to make a 3 now 3. I'm going to make a 33, sir. I'm going to make a 3 now 3. I'm going to make a 32.53. Now 3. Are you sure? Now half. I'm going to make a 3 now. Good job. Now 4. Now 5. Now 5. I'm going to make a 5. 34.50. Now 5. Internet, come on. Be on top. Now half. I'm going to make a 5. We're going to sell it. 35.50. I'm going to make a no pressure. Now 600. I'm going to make a 600. I'm going to make a 5.50. 600. I'm going to make a internet throughout. I need 3,600. I'm going to make a 5.50. 600. Last call. Yeah! I'm going to, that was close. You almost had it. 36.50. Take it out. I appreciate your bid, sir. Thank you. 36.50. Sold. Our number right here. We want 14.75. Thank you, sir. Again, Cherlyn, Cheri, Boots-Sutton, we appreciate you, and we appreciate every one of you today.
And she went to school about 1.5 years ago at Texas Auction Academy where I teach chant. And she said, Mom, I want to go to school. So that following year she went to school. And then she came out of school and we did a couple auctions together. We have Horizon Land and Auction as well, and back in Missouri. And she did some auctions, pulled her up and had her sell tools. And, you know, when she asked the guy, you know, to bid, and she said, please, when she was auctioneering, and the guy, of course, couldn't tell her no.
Come on now, so you better make a 72 and 3. I'm going to make a 3 now, 4, better make it now 4 or 5. Hey, you're going to make a 600, better make a 7600. I'm going to make a now 7. Hey, you're going to make a better make a 7800. I'm going to make a what the money's there, 1189. I'm going to make a 9. I'm going to make a 8999. Come on, it's what the money's 7900. I'm going to make a 89. I'm going to make a now 8,000. I'm going to make a 8,000. I'm going to new one. Hey, you're going to make a 1. Internet's out. I need 81, sir. I'm going to make a 1. I'm going to make a 81. I'm going to make a 8. Now, mom. Internet's out too. I'm going to make a 8 pounds and then 1. I'm going to make a mom. I'm going to make a 8 pounds. Now 2. I'm going to make it now. You do 82, sir. 8200. I'm on the internet at 81. Now 3. I'm going to now 4. I'm going to make a 4. I'm going to make a 84. I'm going to make a now 5. I'm going to make a 5. I'm going to make a 600. I'm going to make a 600. Now 7. I'm going to make a 7 now. Did you get 87? I'm going to make a 87. It's worth the money. 8,700. I'm going to make a 600. I'm going to make a 87. You won't go wrong. Take it out. I'm going to make a 87, sir. 8,700. Now 8,800. I'm going to make a 88. Internet's out. I'm going to make a 78. Now 88. John Route. I need 8,800.
I had to move to Texas, relocate to Texas where I worked most of the time. And I remember calling Cherlyn up on the phone and I said, hey, if you ever wanted to get in the auto business, I said, there's an opening for a ring person. And I said, you need to pack your bags this weekend and come with me. And I guess she took a week to think about it. And when I got back up there that weekend, she goes, yeah, I'm going with you. So she immediately quit both jobs, jumped in the car with me with 2 grandbabies, 4 dogs in.
When I first decided to be an auctioneer / ringman, I was actually at a benefit auction. And I was clerking it because they didn't have somebody. So I was there and I watched my mom, and she drew so much from the crowd. From that day on, I thought about it, and 2 weeks later I walked up to her and was like, I want to go to auction school. So I left my newly remodeled house that I had just paid for, redone myself with the help of my mom. And I got to live in that place for 3 months. I was new I was very green. I didn't know, I was very intimidated because as a child, I was a very shy person and very shy, and you would never know it now. I almost gave up. I almost didn't think I could do it. And about 3-4 months in, I finally hit that passion that I knew was there that wouldn't let me give up. I hit the love for it. It's an adrenaline rush for me. I don't always think about what I'm doing. Now it's just natural, and I love it, every minute of it. Especially benefit auctions, because having that feeling of doing something and raising money for something you believe in and helping kids, that's what I've always wanted to do. That's my passion.
So we all came back to Texas, and she had a tryout for a ring person, and the first few weeks was tough. Within about 3 to 4 months, they gave her the lane, and it wasn't until then that I knew, after all these years of not really, I was a mom, but I traveled my whole life for work, that I found out that we truly had a psychic connection. It is somewhat about the auctioneer, but I believe it's about the team more so. You know, it was great to win the Auctioneer Championship by itself, but the appreciation that I've felt for the teamwork, and especially with being with my daughter, has been amazing. So when we came to this competition in Boston, we came here to win.
Ladies and gentlemen, in 5th place is Cheri Boots-Sutton and Cherlyn Sutton.
He's out there, 7, 7, 8, 9, 9, 11, 11 down, 11, 1, 1.
Ladies and gentlemen, your reserve or 2nd place world champion automobile ring woman is Cherlyn Sutton from Gala, Missouri.
And it's so cool because my daughter came here and they had no idea what she was about. All these years that I've competed, they knew that, you know, I was an auctioneer to be reckoned with. And they knew eventually I would win in the past 11 years. But when we came today, they had no idea what Cherlyn was about.
Cherlyn Sutton.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, here's Cherlyn Sutton from Texas. We got Frankie selling cars, Cherlyn, and we want to sell the next 2 in a row. First off, we got 297. This is a 2004 Grand Cherokee. 285. Oh, can they fill up? 285. Are they going to fill up here? It's not online at all, so it will not be online, ladies and gentlemen. This will be on 4 bidders only. We do not have this car online. So it's going to be 285. It's an 06. Ladies and gentlemen, loaded up. The miles are 96. The miles are 97,000 miles, Cherlyn. Pretty nice ride. As usual, Cherlyn might take that home. I'm ready to get. I'm ready to get. Are you going to green light that? He's going to green light it, drive all the way, ladies and gentlemen. I'm ready to get. You ready to go to work? I'm ready to get. Pick up. I'm ready to pay 1,000. I'm ready to pay 2,000. Hey, he's on the path. Ready to get 21. 1, 2, 3. Ready to get net 4. Hey, ready to get 4. Ready to get 24. Hey, ready to get put him on 4. Ready to get net 5. Hey, ready to get 5, 5, 5. Ready to get put him on 5. Ready to get 600. Hey, ready to get 7. Ready to get put him on 7. Ready to get net 8. Hey, ready to get 8. Ready to get 8. Net 9. Hey, ready to get 9. 9. Ready to get net 9. Hey, 29. Ready to get put him on 9. Ready to get net 3. Hey, ready to get 3 pounds. Hey, ready to get 3. Ready to get you're out, sir. I need 3 pounds. Ready to get 3. Net 1. Hey, ready to get mom. Ready to get 2. 2. 2. Ready to get net 3. Hey, ready to get 33. Ready to get 33, sir. Hey, ready to get 2. 3. Put him on 3. Ready to get net 4. Hey, ready to get 4. 5. Hey, ready to get 5. Ready to get 35. Put him on 5. Ready to get 600. Hey, ready to get 600. Ready to get back there. Ready to get 3,600, sir. Down 7. Hey, ready to get 37. Hey, ready to get put him on 7. Ready to get net 8. Hey, ready to get paid. Ready to get 38. Ready to get paid. What did he say? 3,800. Nice ride. 3,800. Now 9. Hey, ready to get 9. Ready to get put him on 9. Ready to get 9. Hey, ready to get 9. Now 4,000. Hey, ready to get 4. Now 1. Hey, you're safe, I'll tell you. 45, 600. We're on the wrong side of 67. We're on the wrong, sir, if you could use that in golf, that was $6 grand. I appreciate it. Cherlyn, what do we got next? Thank you, sir. I appreciate your bid. Hey. I'm going to Vaz is, it's an 03, 92 pounds, or right by 21. I'm going to come on, 2, 3. Hey, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hey, 20 inch here. And now time, 9, 3, now 1. Hey, come on, now 1, sir. Hey, now 2. Hey, put them on 3. He said if you don't like it, bring it back. 31, 2, drives out nicer. 32, leather loaded. Hey, now 3. Hey, 3, put them on 3. Now 3, sir. Hey, 3, 33, 33, 3, now 4. Hey, 3, now 4, John, you're out. I need 3,400. I'm going to 3, 4. Now 4, now 4, now 5. 35, 600. Hey, 5, 600. Now 7, now 7, now 8, 3,800. I'm going to now 8. 38, what? 3,800. I'm going to day. Family vacation. 3,800. Hey, we do have 3,700 though. 3,700.
I came in a nobody and walked out as somebody.
She truly did. She came in, they were like, oh, you're in the ringman competition, and it was kind of the deal. They just
Like,
brushed her off. Ha. And when we had our first run, the judges had their phones out videoing her, you know, because they couldn't believe it. They had not ever seen a ringman with this much enthusiasm, this much energy, this much pizzazz, the attitude. She had it all.
I have all of the things that add to being a ringman, like being pretty and, you know, having fun, joking around. I also knew what I was doing. And that's the main important thing in the auction business, is knowing what you're doing, and also to be able to put on a good show, even if you don't know what you're doing.
But she did. I mean, and she did the show. She cupped them in her hand. But what's funny is, you know, in competition, a lot goes on that people aren't who they really are. But when a person can come there and that's who they really are, I mean, this is how Cherlyn can work 200 cars. And if you can watch from our clipping, you can see how she works. it's just, you know, it puts you on your edge of your seat. You know, we have dealers that come up and say, I didn't even want to buy that car, but truly, how could I, you know, not bid with her? You know, so it's amazing what she's accomplished in such a short amount of time. We're talking a year.
It's more about getting the money for the car and selling the car than anything else.
And she gets it done. I mean, we've taken a 50%, 60% sale and taken it to an 80, 90% sale every week. It's just been amazing. And not only do we do car auctions together, but we do galas. And when we do galas, we really come alive. We're there raising money for a cause. We're raising money for either children that need help, or, you know, the elderly that need help, or Special Olympics, or there's something that we always raise money for. Schools, private schools that need funding, and it comes from generosity. And when we come in, professionally come in and do these galas, that all comes together. And because we have the psychic connection, we can read people. She can make it fun. You know, after the day's done and that night's done and they write the check, they feel good about what they did because we had fun with them.
We do a benefit, and we did it last year, and we also did it this year. When I came back this year, the first yell I put out, the whole room applauded, yelled out, everything. That set the tone for the whole auction. The whole auction went amazing because everybody was having fun. Everybody was in on it. Everybody was laughing. That's important, because if you're all standing around boring, you're not going to buy anything.
Yeah, auctioneers can't, you know, they've got to interact. We work the car auctions together, but our main goal is galas. We love raising money for people that are in need. We love the people that we help, which is the most important thing. One quick note, I remember going into the Children's Advocacy one time, and there was this child who was left in a park. He looked like he was 3 or 4, but he was actually 6 years old, and they had found him passed away in a park. I actually took a tour of what I was raising money for. I went to the advocacy center and they walked me through it. And I'm going to tell you what, if you can just feel what it was like to walk through where children are abused, and sometimes they live and sometimes they don't, it gives you such an appreciation for raising money for those children. If we're asked to come to a gala, we love to either go through the school or go through the, you know, the advocacy center where they take children in, or if we can also make a connection with anything that we're doing, if we could just visit that place to be able to relate to them, to be able to touch hands on one of those children and know that, and then you go back and do the auction to raise that money, you can relate, and it helps us draw money out. And we want to raise an enormous amount of money for people who are really in need, and we'll be the company that will come to you, and we would love to tour your facilities, meet the people that we're helping, and then make it happen that night when we do your gala.
We will bring passion, excitement, energy, and make your crowd bid more and raise more money. I wanted to be a psychologist, but I'm like, why would I be a psychologist when I can actually raise money for them and bring more to the opportunity for those kids and put them through things that they need to? And a lot of that comes from my nephews and nieces and having to help raise them and take care of them in my life. And I know what it takes and how hard it is.
She was walking me through and she goes, this is where we get our first complaints. This is where we get the calls. Then we send them to this person and they decipher whether the complaints are actuality. And then as we walk down the hall, she says, this is where we do our counseling. And she said, this is the room, and this is the lady that takes care of the ones who does not make it, the ones that actually passed. And right then, I knew that I'd found a passion for what I wanted to do. And when I walked past this room, there was probably 12 different people that from the state of Texas that were investigating because they still didn't know who this little boy was. And here his picture was up on a big screen, and they were all talking about how to find out who he was and what happened to him. And I mean, I get cold chills as I talk about it every time I think back about that. And what, you know, to have that experience, to be able to relate to what you're raising money for, there's nothing better than that. And what Boots and Heel Gala Auctions will offer is that we do want to come to your facility. We want to come to the schools. We want to tour. We want to look at the children, what they're learning. We love creating. We love creating and making money for people who need it. And there's so many organizations and so many nonprofits, and we feel like that we could actually touch somebody's heart and by raising money for them.